It seems like Kentucky's roster is finalized, except for maybe one more addition they might make via a depth kind of piece like a Hawthorne. We're going to predict our starting lineups. We'll give you predictions today, and we'll probably do this again in a few months after summer practices once we have more of a feel for this team, but it'll be a fun experiment to get this kind of 25-26 season started. So that's what's going to happen on today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, publisher over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined, as always, by Carson Nash. Carson, Derby's coming up Saturday. Do we have any big plans?
Yeah, we're doing a little keg fest at Stefaniak's house. So get that caulk ready. We're gonna need to patch some walls.
Yeah, touche. Yes, it's yes, we have some stuff to fix there. But this is gonna be fun, Carson. I'm looking forward to predicting these rosters. And we want to hear y'all in the comments. Everybody that's listening to this, go in the comments, predict the starting five. We want to hear what y'all have to say. Who is the starting five? And Carson, we haven't shared ours with each other yet. I think that we're going to be similar. I can already guess yours. I can guess it. I'm going to be a little different from you. But this will be a lot of fun. So, hey, if you haven't already, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate that. That would mean a lot to us. We're over 2,500, so thank you all for that. Next goal, we want to get to 3,000 and then eventually 5,000. And, so keep hitting that button. We appreciate it. It helps us out. So, Carson, let's get right on into it. I think that we like to, say here a lot on the Wildcats Today podcast that we feel like the guard spots are quite positionless. To me, it's more the 2 and 3. So we'll just say at the point guard, Carson, I think we both agree it's going to be. I'm at least saying it's going to be Jalen Lowe. Well, what do you have to say there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can argue much on that one. He's a proven guy out of the ACC of Pittsburgh. 16.6 points a game. He can assist. He's almost 6 assists a game. He's going to be a stud for us. So, yeah, Lowe's the starting point guard.
I don't think that there is any question there. I think that's the one, honestly. I think that, and then maybe there's one other guard, and I think those are the only two certain starters on this team. Lowe, like you said, Carson, he's just a proven guy. He's been great at Pittsburgh. We've talked about the issues with the efficiency, but I don't see that being an issue in Mark Pope's system. I think he's going to dial it in. I think he's going to be a lot more, efficient from the field, from 3, from the field. He's going to get better looks. He's going to create good looks for his teammates. We both agree there. We'll go. So how about let's do it this way, Carson? Just give me the next 2 guards. We won't say the 2 or the 3. The other 2 guards you have starting for the Cats.
Yeah, this one, I mean, one that's for certain when he announces his decision to come back is Otega away, no doubt in my mind. Going to play the most minutes on the team, most likely. So Otega for sure. And then the other ones where I'm kind of a little questionable, right? You have Aberdeen that can fill that role. You also, but I kind of like it. I like a big lineup. I'm going to go Cam Williams. I like Cam Williams at the 3 position. He's 6'8". He can shoot it from Narnia. I mean, he's an all-around stud, going to be an NBA draft pick. I like Cam Williams starting at the 3. But Aberdeen and Jasper Johnson can also compete for that role. Same with Colin Chandler. So it'll be interesting to see over the summer.
So obviously there's no debate that, yes, if Otega pulls his name out of the draft, which we all assume he will start as one of our guards. Then you're right. The next guy is where it gets interesting. And Carson, I'll tell you what, it pains me to not say Cam Williams, because I absolutely love Cam Williams. Right there with you, Carson. You're right. He can shoot it from anywhere on the floor. He's 6'8" with a wingspan of like 7'2". I mean, he's just a freak athlete, a picture of what an NBA team is looking for to be a 2 guard. And I believe he will be an NBA 2 guard someday. But I'm going to go, and this is my bold take of the day, with Jasper Johnson. I want, and I'm going to tell you why. I think that Jasper Johnson, honestly, when it comes to NBA upside, if I had to rank those 3 players, Aberdeen, Jasper Johnson, and Cam Williams, I would probably go, honestly, and this is probably a little bold, I'd go Cam Williams, like a nano bump below him, Jasper Johnson, and then Aberdeen. I'm not buying Aberdeen as a big-time NBA prospect. I think he's a great college player. He could be. I'm just saying.
I think if he improves his ball handling skills, I think he could definitely be a NBA player. I think him being able to create a shot more often is going to be what NBA scouts are looking for him. But I see the athleticism in a 6'5" guard. So, I mean, if you have that size and ability like in Aberdeen, and Jasper is the same size, so both those guys can be NBA guys to me.
I just think Jasper starting means that he's outplayed Williams and Aberdeen, and that's good news. I mean, Jasper Johnson's a 5-star for a reason. He's a great basketball player, and that's my take on it. I think that he has the ability to outplay those guys. I honestly think you can make the same argument for Cam Williams. This to me right here is the main debate that needs to happen when you talk about Kentucky's starting lineup for next year. And you can throw Colin Chandler in there too. Although honestly, my prediction right now, and we're not really talking backups, but I think Colin Chandler is going to end up being the backup point guard. We've had a lot of listeners disagree with that, and that's fair. I just think if you mold him the whole offseason into point guard, I believe he can play that position. But so that to me, Carson, that's it. Is those two. Those 4 players who starts at that, other guard spot, Chandler, Williams, Jasper Johnson, and Aberdeen. Only one of those guys can start, and I think all 4 of them are capable of starting. So,
and all 4 of them are going to get a ton of minutes either way.
And I want to hear another thing. It's a damn good problem to have. It's a good problem to have because, hey, whoever starts, and that's why if I'm wrong about Jasper and it's Williams, or we're both wrong and it's Aberdeen, or I'm right and it's Johnson, it's a win-win because those guys coming off the bench are incredible basketball players. And that's just not something we really had last year. So
it's like a situation like Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning. Like, it's not a bad thing we got Arch Manning on the bench. It's like, it's a good thing.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's a good issue to have. So that's my take there. But once again, we're going to get comments. I can already tell you right now, there's going to be some Colin Chandlers. There's going to be some Cam Williams. There's going to be some Jasper Johnsons. And there's going to be
some Trent Noahs.
There'll be some Trent Noahs. I mean, seriously. They will in some Denzel Aberdeens. Every one of y'all that comments and leaves us your starting lineup prediction, it's going to be different. And that's a good thing because no one is wrong. That's the thing. No answer is wrong. And that's good news because that means you have a lot of quality basketball players that genuinely can start and still field a good lineup. And that's, once again, not something we had in year 1 of the Pope era. So, Carson, this is another one where it gets really interesting. Honestly, I think point guard is the only position where there's no debate at all. Mm-hmm. We'll separate the 4 and the 5 for this conversation.
Yeah.
At your power forward, who starts for the Cats next year?
Beginning of the season, Mo D. I'm saying Mohamed Diabate from Alabama. I just think he brings the defense and intensity and the athleticism that we need, especially out of a starter. And he's a proven guy. This one I was torn about because I love Yelovich. Like, Yelovich might be one of my favorite prospects and players on the team. Mm-hmm. But I think Mo D is he's already been through everything. He's a veteran. So I think Mo D takes the starting spot at the beginning of the season. Now I could see Yelovich taking his spot later on down the line if he progresses. But I think Mo D, you can't leave that defensive ability and athleticism out of the lineup.
I'll tell you this. I think there's 2 possible outcomes at power forward. I think that the first outcome is Andre Yelovich ends up being as good as we think he's going to be, and he's the starter, and it's not even relatively close. And then I think there's the possibility of the player we want him to be, he just isn't, and in that case, Mo D starts. But on the bright side thinking type of a day I'm having here, I'm going to say that I think Yelovich is going to be as good as we anticipate. That unicorn shooter, shot blocker, defender, rebounder, rim runner, ball handler that we want him to be and believe he can be. If he's that, he's a better player than Mo Diabate. This has been an interesting one to me, Carson. I've seen a lot of UK fans. The player that UK fans have just grappled onto is Mo Diabate. And I think he's great. But that's one I just think if Yelovich is what we believe he is / can be, he starts. That's the reality. And if he isn't, it's Mo D.
I do think you're underselling Mo a tad bit because his efficiency was through the roof and he just wasn't playing a lot of minutes at Alabama. So I'm really interested to see how his efficiency goes when he is given more minutes. So that is something to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've got people. I agree with you, Carson. I think that's the way I come off on Mo D. Proven's a great word. He's proven in this conference. He was a great player off the bench for one of the best teams in the best conference ever last year. And in a bigger role, I think he can be even better. I'm just saying. So then answer me this.
He doesn't have the NBA upside that Yelovich has.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If you had to talk about the potential upside for the best roster, I think that's Yelovich. That's why I say Yelovich.
Oh, you're 100% right there.
The chances that he ends up being what we believe he can be, I'd probably put it like 30%. And I think what I mean by that is maybe he's just not going to be, he doesn't shoot the ball as well as we thought, or maybe he's a little weak on defense. You know what I mean? If one of those things happen, then Mo D is going to be the starter, and he's proven it in this conference. We've seen it, and he's been damn good. So it's no hate to Mo D. I think that if Yelovich proves he is what we want him to be, what he can be, I think he's a starting power forward. So we're going to play this game, Carson. Jaden Quaintance is healthy day one. I've seen a lot of folks doing this argument with him injured, and we'll talk about that within this conversation. But Jaden Quaintance is healthy day one. What does your 5 position look like?
One, I also assume he will be ready for day one. Every sign leads me to believe that he will be ready for the first game. Even himself states that he will be ready for the first game. So I think if he's ready for the first game, I'm penciling him in as our 5-man. Jaden Quaintance is one of the best defensive bigs in the country. He is actually the highest rated defensive transfer big, according to Evan Maya. Is that right? Yeah. Is that what it was? Yeah. So JQ is going to be our starter. I know BG's come back for his junior year, but I think Quaintance takes that position.
I am a little more concerned with the injury now, and it's not the timetable of coming back. It's the effectiveness once he is back. How often, we see it all the time. NFL running backs, I think, are a great example. NBA, same thing, but you see it so often in the NFL. Running backs get hurt and they come back and they struggle to look like who they were. How long does it take Jaden Quaintance to look like Jaden Quaintance? That's my concern. I think that he might be ready to go day one, but how much percent of Jaden Quaintance is he day one?
Well, that's my concern. He won't meet Vita Vea in the A gap though, as well.
I agree.
But this is football, or this isn't football. This is basketball. But I agree with you. I mean, the jumping up and down and putting all that,
the cutting, and
you're right. It's going to be interesting to see. We won't know more about that until really close to the season. So, I mean, that'll just be something to keep an eye on.
And there's nothing we can do to change it. You know what I mean? His timetable is his timetable. And I've said this, if you have to hold him out the first 5-6 games, who cares? Hold him out. We have a good enough team that, first of all, I think we can win without him for a few games. Second of all, I think that you don't want to risk this with him because I'll tell you this, a team with Otega Owe and Jasper Johnson, Jaden Quaintance will be the best player on our team. And that might not, I think a lot of folks look at best player and look at points per game.
Yeah.
But when you look at overall impact, I think Jaden Quaintance will be the best player on our team next year. You need him healthy. And if that means hold him out 5 or 6 games, hold him out. But I believe he's our starting 5. I mean, I think that he's going to be a star. I think he'll be the best defensive player we've seen at Kentucky since Anthony Davis. I know how good Bam was. I know we've had some great defensive players come through here since Anthony Davis.
Better than
all
Willie
those years ago. I think he can. I mean,
he can be. I mean, you're not wrong.
Better than Willie and Cat and Nerlens Noel and Bam Adebayo. Yeah. I think if he has a good year, he can be better than all those guys. And you know what's funny is I don't think that's a crazy statement. I don't think that's even bold.
Yeah, I don't think it's outlandish either. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's going to be a top five
pick for a reason. Yeah,
exactly. So there's a reason, and it's going to be, I think he's going to average a 12-10 double-double with 4 blocks a game, 2 or 3 assists a game. I think that's going to be his
stat line.
And I think that's going to be his test. Maybe 3 blocks is more realistic, but I think 12 points and 10 rebounds is very realistic for him. Very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I am a hair more concerned about the injury than some. And it's not that when he'll be back, it's how effective will he be? Will it affect his play? And I don't know. I'm not a Dr. Cooley. It's why I'm sitting here doing this. But, that's my concern for his injuries. Will it affect him? And even if it did, I don't think it'd be for more than a month or 2. Like, it wouldn't affect him once SEC play rolls around. But could it affect him his first 5-10 games? Perhaps. So any other conversations within this conversation, Carson? Are there any players that you think can make a run at this?
I wanted to piggyback off of something you said, like the first 4 or 5 games. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a schedule change within our first 4 to 5 games. The State Farm Classic we're going to have a different opponent than Michigan State this season. So I wanted to play a game with you, and if you could pick any team in the whole entire country to play against us in the State Farm Classic, who you picking?
St. John's.
St. John. Okay, I like
Don't
that.
think about it. No. This is very important. And I talked to Mike and I were talking about this last night when we saw that tweet from, I don't know what I ate, but there's something in my throat that is like killing me right now. I think I had some of that Smart Food popcorn. And I think one of the kernels is in the gullet and it's creating issues. But because I'm almost coughing every time I open my mouth. But
at least Cameron there is in the backyard on standby if you do start choking.
Exactly. Dr. Coulter back there. But I think Mike and I talked about this. St. John's would be a lot of fun this year. Probably next year, maybe the year. But, they signed those big, long contracts with this thing. Rick Pitino is getting older. How much longer does he got in him? And then what does that program – honestly, I know they've had some history before Rick Pitino, but, do you believe they're going to be a good program when he's gone? I'm not buying that. So what I'm saying is I think it'd be fun in the short term. I'd be concerned long term, and that's why I think UConn would be a great addition. But when it comes to this year, I would say St. John's. Long term, UConn. This year, St. John's. And those are 2 teams I've seen as possibilities. But are there any other teams, Carson, that you would throw in on top of those that aren't in the conversation that'd be fun?
I'm kind of with you. I think UConn is a good pick because then you have Duke, UConn, Kansas, and Kentucky, 4 blue bloods, and then you start to make that. Because I always thought, I know we have a losing record in that game, which is very unfortunate right now. But we did start playing that in the latter years of the Cal era, so that makes sense. But I think UConn's the best because I like watching good basketball, and I think you pick 4 of the best programs of all time.
Yeah. Okay. Now the only thing I get these 2 things mixed up. So help me with this is that the one with, or is this the one with Ohio State, UCLA, and
no? Okay, no, I missaid the name. It's the Champions Classic. I called it the State Farm Classic.
I want to make sure.
It is.
Okay, that's where I get confused. Okay, CBS Classic is what. That's what we went to, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm confused. The Champions Classic is the one that's those teams. The CBS Classic is the one where we played Ohio State this year. Last year,
the CBS Classic is the one where we lost to Ohio State by 1 million
last year, and then we beat North Carolina the year before.
Yeah.
And then the other team. Who was the other team? Do you remember? Ohio State, North Carolina, us. It was UCLA, and that's the issue. Is it's because we were playing. I forget who we're playing this year, but that's now a conference game. You know what I mean? For those 2, for UCLA and Ohio State, so I think they can't have that be part of that anymore.
Oh, so it's that, not the Champions that's getting changed?
Yeah, I was confused.
Yeah.
At that. But yes, it's the CBS Classic, which is okay, now we got to look this up because but yeah, I'm pretty confident. Yeah, CBS Sports Classic. Yeah, those are the 4 teams right there.
Yeah.
And so one of them's pulling out, And my
I
guess
completely thought it
is
was the other one.
really, and my
Yeah,
guess is because UCLA and Ohio State can't, play each other.
yeah. Well,
So,
I read the thing saying somebody dropped out. I assumed it was Michigan State because they didn't belong there. If Izzo's not the coach.
yeah, no, exactly. But so we'll see who replaces them. But I mean, that is still a fun long-term game. I enjoy those. Any of those, they're fun to go to. I forget. Where is this year's? Do you know?
I don't know. I remember chasing Doug Shows out of one of them in Las Vegas one year.
Yeah, we because you and I and Mike went to the one in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and then last year it was in Madison Square Garden. So fun event. No, it's funny. Mike and I got that. We did the same thing last night. We got it confused, and we were like, okay, which one is this? Because we play in two of them. But no, we did end up getting it figured out because so that's that. But are any other lineup thoughts, Carson, before we get out of here?
That's all I got. I mean, you got two lineups that are good enough to be starting lineups within your own conference.
Exactly.
So that's pretty exciting. So I mean, don't get too discouraged if we're not starting the players that you guys love because they're all going to get a ton of playing time. Starter just is a word. So you know how Mark Pope runs his teams.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. But seriously, let us know in the comments your starting five. And then maybe, is there a player that you don't have in your starting five, but you're really excited about? Let us know all of that in the YouTube comments. And hey, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, we would really appreciate that. We're inching in on 3,000. That is going to do it for today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. Thanks y'all for being here, and we'll see y'all next time.